Hello, welcome to Scott Bryant's Fitness Systems. Thank you for clicking on the video. Please subscribe, and please follow. Please press that bell icon. This video is all about the Chek Holistic Lifestyle Coaching Program, which comes in 3 levels, and I got my level 3 back in 2007, 15 years ago. Wow, that's a long time. I just can't believe how quick the time has gone. And I've tested the system many times on myself and with clients, and I tell you what, it always works. It always works. You don't need calorie counting, you don't need Weight Watchers, you don't need the Atkins diet, you don't need any of that. It's all a load of nonsense. All you got to do is get to bed on time, drink your body weight in ounces of water, look at your chakra system, and look at your poos to find out whether your colon and transit time is good, and keep your stress levels really low. Now, a long time ago, I bought this book, which is Charles Poliquin's book, German Body Comp Training, and German Body Comp Program, sorry. And I bought this about the same time I bought Eat, Move and Be Healthy. Now, Eat, Move and Be Healthy really looked into gut health and really went a little bit deeper with assessments and explaining about some people are carb types, protein types, mixed types, and then explaining about circadian rhythms, explaining about stress and stuff like that. Whereas Poliquin's book didn't really cover that. But the thing with Poliquin's book is that it really went deep into bodybuilding and gaining strength and size, whereas Paul's book was really meant for rehabilitation and health and vitality from a point of view of not just building massive muscles. It's not really about building massive muscles. It's all about building more function in the body and getting you out of pain. And I can tell you, hand on heart, that I've had clients come to me with chronic issues and managed to get them back into shape, back on top, using the system. But the negative side of the system, it's too complex and too deep for most people. You've got to be quite an intelligent person that really wants to go really deep with your body and understand how the body functions and why sleep is so important, why water is so important, and why organic food is so important. Now on TikTok, they BS everything, so everyone is totally confused. So the combination of the 2 books, you will get awesome knowledge from the 2 books, not just the 1 book, the 2 books. I've not done a Poliquin course yet, but I've done all of Paul Chek's course. I'm a master Paul Chek practitioner, which I qualified in 2012 with that. So it's been a few years since I've become the master. They've changed a lot of it. They changed the name, they changed the logo. All these things I don't really agree with. I think Paul's old logo really set him out to be different. Just having a C that really stands for cunt, as far as I'm concerned. I wouldn't want to be wearing that because it doesn't really represent Paul's work, in my opinion. But you can comment down below on what you think of the old system compared to the new system. And with the new system now, you've got to write an essay and to become a what do they call it? To go on the Chek, internship, or what do they call it? Oh, Chek Academy, that's it, if you want to go on the Chek Academy. Now, the Chek Academy is really a rip-off in some ways. You've got to pay a certain amount of money every month, which most people with their mortgages and the way that they're living their lives because of the economy and what's going on, it isn't really going to work, in my opinion. But when you could buy and download or buy the prerequisites, which I've got all of them in my cupboard, and watch videos or buy the videos which you watch in your own home, which I've still got here, I thought that was a much better system than being locked into this academy where you've got to pay 300, 400, 500 pounds a month every month. If you've got a mortgage, car, children, it's not really something that you really want to commit to, in my opinion. But what I will say is that the Chek courses are amazing. But the other thing that I will say is that from what I can gather, they're not really updated. So when you're looking at advanced program design or scientific core conditioning, it's still old information. But that old information is still good because it's still not really in the mainstream. Because I've heard other trainers talk about this. Then other trainers say to me, or other trainers and other people go, is the Chek system a cult? Now, it is a cult from a point of view that you're going to be watching videos for 6 years of Paul lecturing to you and trying to really brainwash you, in my opinion, after doing it all and being away from the Chek Institute since 2012. I can see that now, whereas I couldn't see it at the time. I was a bit blinded and I just wanted to stay focused on achieving a qualification that took me 6 years. There's no other fitness qualification that takes that long. And that's because of the amount of reading and studying and learning about yourself and about helping your clients in a much deeper way. So the other thing with the German body comp program is that he talks about body fat caliper measurements, which I highly, highly recommend, because if you're doing it every week with your client, you can tell whether they're eating too much carb or eating the wrong types of food. Whereas the metabolic typing diet, or the primal diet that Paul sells now, is all about, the primal diet is about talking to your soul and understanding what your soul wants you to eat. But 90% of people can't do that. They're not even connected. They don't even know they have a fucking soul. Okay? So really, really important with the HLC program is that you've got to do it on yourself, which is great. And you learn how to coach your clients over a period of time. It isn't a quick fix. It isn't a cookie cutter program. Whereas with the Charles Harlequin, it's take 16 grams of fish oil, take this vitamin, take that mineral, take this, take that, do German volume training or do some other type of training in which to get the body into shape. Now, Paul's marketing, in my opinion, was a bit more polished than Charles Harlequin's. But now looking into Harlequin's work on a much deeper level, I realise that I can use both systems with different types of clients. So if I get a bodybuilder come to me and he just wants to get pure size, pure mass, I know what program to put him on. Whereas this was never mentioned in any of the Chek program that I did. They never really mentioned how important German volume training was. But I was advised to do Charles Harlequin's courses in which to get more knowledge and more understanding of the physical body, which I think is great. And the other thing that was quite funny is that Paul and Charles both come from the same country, which is Canada, which I thought was really, really unique. But the difference is that Paul didn't have a qualification in physical fitness, whereas Charles Harlequin had a degree in sports science or something like that. He had a real high up degree. So what he knew was really, really good. And he could speak fluently a couple of languages. And he got out there over 24 books. Paul's only got 4 books out there. So that's a bit of the difference between Charles and Paul. And when I've spoken to other trainers that have done Charles and Paul's work, some of them go all the way with Charles and some of them go all the way with Paul, like me. Now, the thing is with the Chek Institute, is a bit of a, bitchy type system where they're only interested in themselves. And when you get to level 4, to my status, you get ostracised and put away from the system if you decide to, rebel against the system like I did. And the reason why I rebelled against it, I was asking to do free work and not getting paid for it. And I run a self-employed business. Now, Paul would never do nothing for free, and neither would the owner of the Institute do anything for free, because Paul doesn't own it anymore, which is a bit of a shame, because that's why the logo went and other things changed. For the worst, in my opinion, but obviously I've not looked at their bank balance to see how much money they've got in the bank from the changes that they've made. But all I get is feedback from other trainers that get in touch with me, go, do you think I should do the Chek study? And, well, yes, but it's hard to sell it to people. It's hard to make money from it. And many, many trainers sell all their equipment and stop using it because they realise it's quite a tough thing. But what I realised from training in a big gym a couple of Sundays ago, that the industry's got worse. It hasn't changed. Everyone's on their fucking mobile phone. They're not even breaking into a sweat. in this gym where there was 40 people in the gym, not one had a written program with them. And even one guy come up to me and said, "Do you want to use my lifting straps?" And I went, "No, they're for girls, mate. If you've got strong grip, you don't need lifting straps." And from what I learned with the Chek Institute, was it causes thoracic outlet syndrome, which means you get pins and needles in your hands and other spinal issues, which I see every guy using them wraps, and I just think it's absolutely madness from what I've learned from the Chek Institute. So I'm not saying that the Chek Institute is a bad place to learn. It's a great place to learn, great environment, but it is a bit like, if you want to get supersizing and gargantuan bodybuilding muscle, it isn't going to happen. But if you've got, well, you can if you've got the right program design and you've got good knowledge. But when it comes to selling it to your client, it can be quite hard if you're not good at sales, especially in this environment and economy, the way things are going. I've noticed a big difference in the economy of getting inquiries and calls. And every business person that I know is like, "Oh, what do I do, Scott? How am I going to get through this time?" And I did do a load of videos, which I'll link to the top, where I was talking about what to do in a recession and how to survive. Do not reduce your price. Definitely don't reduce your price. So, and the reason why I say that, if you reduce your price, you're just cheapening your service, and you still got to pay your £1,000 a month rent. You still got to pay all your normal bills. And when you go into Tesco's or Sainsbury's or the other big businesses, do they reduce the cost of a sweet? Do they say you can have 10% discount? They might do on certain products, but they really keeping their price up high because they've got bills and that to pay. So I would say, Paul's, 62, I think, looks amazing, still putting out great stuff at 62. So 15 years on, I'm still using the program on my body and on my clients and anyone that's really, ill. It seems to really work well to reverse different complex problems in the body. And that's why I decided to go the Paul Chek route compared to Harlequin, because Harlequin was more about strength, conditioning and sports performance. The Chek system is about that, but not in a different way. Okay, so you've got two different brains and they look at things in a different way. So in Paul's program, he never spoke about how to get your calves bigger. A lot of black men or ethnic people have really small calves. Now, Charles Harlequin gives you a system on how to make the calf bigger. And that wasn't covered even in the program design of Paul's courses. So it's not until I get to year 2022, after reading, I got nearly all of Charles Harlequin's books, and I've been studying them in depthly, and now I want to do all Harlequin's courses eventually, in which to be able to help more athletes, because not all athletes want to see a Chek practitioner, they want to see a Harlequin coach. So I want to mix and match the two of them, if that makes sense. So I would suggest get his book. This is quite hard to get hold of now, and Paul's book is about 19 quid on Amazon, which I think is a bit expensive, but it is a great book with great information. Or you can buy my book, Holistic Health for Proper Geezers, Classy Ladies. Get the body and fitness you want now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. The Chek Holistic Lifestyle Coaching Program is very deep, very in-depth. Only do it if you're looking at being in the fitness industry or the care industry or whatever you're doing for the next 20 odd years, because you don't want to be spending £4,000 or £5,000 or £8,000 to get the qualification and then you don't use it. Then you've got expensive bits of paper on the wall or in your presentation to people that people just don't care about. The other bad thing about Charles and Harlequin, none of their courses are recognised by doctors, physios, osteopaths. There's one osteopath in England that recognises because he works for Paul, but many of them don't recognise it. The same with physios, they don't recognise it. So you've got to remember that. Do you want to spend huge amounts of money on your education for something that's just not recognised anywhere? Okay? I get phone calls about people wanting me to do the Chek program on them, and that's because I'm a level 4 and I do lots of marketing all over the place. So from that point of view, it's good. But from the point of view of taking it to your doctor, they won't listen. They're too full of their egos, the doctors in the UK. But one thing that Charles said is that the media in the UK was terrible for promoting strength and conditioning. But I know that some doctors are now saying, if you've got bad posture, you need to see a corrective exercise specialist. So it's slowly changing, but 20 years on, it should have completely changed. The same with the gyms have got excellent equipment in, but 90% or 80% of the trainers are terrible. They've done an online course. I had one gym manager complaining to me saying, there's too many trainers doing online courses and think that they can train people from doing an online course. You can't. You need practical experience to be able to train your clients. Online training courses doesn't work. And online training doesn't work 100% because you can't palpate, you can't touch, you can look at what the client's doing, but you can't really adjust them to get them in the perfect position. Does that make sense? So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, please like, please share. Thank you. This will help me on the algorithms and help me to get to 10,000 subscribers. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.